Yes, sir. Yes, sir. What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Thank you so much for tuning in to Renee Box Young, Flash Live. Had to do it out of nowhere, man. I had to do this. I got some things to talk about, man. I just couldn't help myself, just like yesterday, right? Yeah, I love it. I love doing it, man. I got a window of time, so I got to take advantage, man. And like I said, in my last Flash Live, that when it comes to my windows of time, it seems like I'm, fitting in some time to go live around this time. So, yeah, just out of nowhere, Flash Live. You know how it is, man. I really appreciate each and every one of you who has been tuning in. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. Renee Box Young is simply a platform where we discuss, critique, analyze, and simply talk about the sport of boxing in a level-headed, mature fashion. You know how we do it here, man, definitely. And interesting news, man. You probably heard it already. Like I said, man, I've been saying it time and time again as far as, and you already know, as far as the sport of boxing and current developments, recent developments are just so constant. It's so frequent. It's every other moment something new comes out. Every other moment something fresh comes out. You know what I'm saying? And just a lot of information coming out left and right all the time. And this is one of the reasons why I couldn't help myself, because it's very intriguing, very interesting information, and it looks like it's a good thing. It's a good thing as far as the fighter, okay, and what is projected for this fighter in particular. And it's funny because on my last Flash Live, I was talking about this as far as as far as the fighter we're gonna talk about. Okay, Eric R, what is good, my guy, man? Kaboom. Kaboom! That's what I'm talking about. How you doing, Eric R? I hope you're doing great, man. Just did Flash out of nowhere. You know how we do it, man. Definitely, man. And like I said, I just found a window of time, so I definitely got to take advantage of this, man. I want to talk about, and you probably heard it. Those who will be tuning into this session, you know what I'm saying, and those who will eventually tune in afterwards or what have you. As I say time and time again, as you all know, we're in a digital era. When information, is released, it just spreads like wildfire. And sooner than later, boxing community gets their hands on it. You know what I'm saying? So you probably heard about this information so far. I want to talk about it definitely, and I want to give my input. You know what I'm saying? I want to give my 2 cents about it. And I want to talk a little bit also about Povetkin versus White, Dillian White rematch, which is this Saturday. Heck yeah! Yeah. Thank you, Eric R. I appreciate you, bro. Family, man, family. Let's hope the power doesn't go out again. Hey, the struggle's real, though. You know what I'm saying? Hey, but despite things happening, with power going out, what have you, I'm pushing, man. I flourish where the struggle is. You know what I'm saying? That's how I do it. That's how I do it in life, and that's how we all do, right? We struggle. We flourish in the struggle. We thrive in the struggle. That's what I'm talking. I keep pushing it. So that's what I'm talking about, man. I found this window of time, so I definitely want to talk. You know what I'm saying? I want to take advantage of this. And so, man, once again, subscribers, since day one, recent subscribers, I really appreciate each and every one of you, man. Thank you guys so much, and those who have been, tuning into the videos, commenting in the videos in the comment sections, tuning into lives, family, man, always jumping in. I really appreciate each and every one of you. And let's get to it, man. Let's get to this news, all right? It's about our friend Ryan Garcia, okay? So, like I said, I was just talking about him in my last live. I think it was yesterday. But I was talking about him in the aspect of, all that buffoonery that's been going out, for the past several months with Ryan Garcia. Even, I have contemplated it and I have made videos about it, just a couple, not much at all, concerning, Ryan Garcia and Tank Davis. But this was a long time ago, you know what I'm saying? And the lead up of this whole stuff, between Tank Davis and Ryan Garcia. The talks, that's I just put it that way, the talks between them possibly fighting or what have you. Obviously, I made a couple videos about it. Just to lay a foundation here, I made a video, it's called, I forgot what the heck it's called, but the thumbnail, I do remember the thumbnail, okay? The thumbnail is like, it's something along the lines of Ryan Garcia, Oscar De La Hoya, Ryan Garcia on the left, Oscar De La Hoya in the middle, and Devin Haney and Tank Davis towards the right in the thumbnail. I mean, it's in my channel, and there's a cloud over Oscar De La Hoya's head, and it says "no go" in big letters, big red letters, if I remember correctly. It says "no go," And the purpose of me making the thumbnail in such a manner is because, you know, to visually show what the video was about. Obviously, thumbnails do that, right? But I explained in that video how, you know, ever since, you know, Ryan Garcia and Tank Davis have been going back and forth. And this has been, I think, years plural, man. You know, you can go back years where, you know what I'm saying, where Ryan Garcia was running his mouth off about Tank Davis, you know, and you wanted to fight him or whatever. And then this happened a long time ago that, you know, they were supposed to spar, or Tank Davis wanted to spar Ryan Garcia in California or something like that. Because if I'm not mistaken, Ryan Garcia was around his neck of the woods, around Ryan Garcia's hood, you know what I mean? And he wanted to spar him, and then somebody saved the day. Somebody saved Ryan to, you know, keep him from sparring Tank Davis. So they've been going back and forth for a minute. That's what I'm trying to say here. They've been going back and forth for a minute. I've made a couple videos about it, you know what I'm saying? And in that video in particular, where that thumbnail that I'm explaining, where it has that thumbnail, you know, that video I have, it explains that, you know, how I was thinking, or I guess predicting, I don't know, whatever you want to call it, you know what I'm saying? I make educated guesses, you know what I'm saying? I make educated guesses, you know what I'm saying? Based on certain patterns on how promoters move their fighters and things of that nature. You know what I'm saying? Throughout the years, you can kind of tell. And I explained in that video how Ryan Garcia, you know, how Oscar De La Hoya is going to keep Ryan Garcia from Tank Davis and Haney, okay? Now, I'm saying this because those are the instances where I would talk about Ryan Garcia. And I recently talked about Ryan Garcia, how, you know, in my last live, how, you know, it's just a bunch of buffoonery with him saying this and that to hype up a possible fight between him and Tank Davis when we know they're not going to fight anytime soon. We know that. We know that. It's just so clear to see, you know. I personally think I explained a little bit about with Ortiz, okay, with Victor Ortiz. And I think the same with Ryan Garcia, okay, that Oscar De La Hoya is going to protect him, you know what I'm saying, keep him from, in this case, keep him from Tank Davis for a minute. He's gonna keep him away. I mean, just for crying out loud, look what happened to Ryan Garcia when he fought Luke Campbell. And I definitely congratulate. Yeah, hypothesis. Thank you so. Yeah, Eric, our hypothesis. Yeah, I give educated hypothesis. You know what I'm saying? Based off of the patterns, you know what I'm saying, of how these fighters move themselves or what have you, how their superiors, you know, carry them in their careers. And some are more relevant. Some patterns are easier to detect and more predictable than others when it comes to promoters. Like for Bob Arum, you know, for example, Bob Arum, Eddie Hearn. Eddie Hearn runs his mouth off a little bit too much, and it's just it seems like he accomplishes a small percentage of a lot of what he says, you know what I'm saying? So, and Bob Arum, you know, we know how he moves. So, and Oscar De La Hoya, that's why I make like what is like these hypotheses concerning certain fighters, you know, and that's why I pushed videos concerning Ryan Garcia explaining those certain particular hypotheses that I have. So, but I'm saying this for this, okay? Let me get back to what I'm saying, that I personally think that Oscar De La Hoya is going to keep protecting Ryan Garcia for a nice long time, okay? From Tank Davis. You know, Ryan Garcia, supposedly, he's been saying that he wants to fight these top guys, you know, Haney and Tank, and, you know, I haven't really heard him talk about Teofimo, though, but whatever. And now news is coming out, okay? News is coming out that the WBC, I'm sure you guys have heard it, you know, those who will eventually tune in or what have you, by the time you tune in, you know, news spreads like wildfire. WBC is ordering Ryan Garcia versus Fortuna, because when Ryan Garcia fought Campbell, if I'm not mistaken, he got some kind of belt. Like I said, man, I really don't pay attention to belts, man. I mean, all due respect to the champs who have belts. All due respect to the champs who have belts, who got those belts the tough way, fighting the tough competition out there. Those are the belts I respect, or the situations in which I respect fighters having belts. Put it that way. But a lot of these, you know, belts that are just given, you know, here, interim, you know, diamond, and all these other belts, you already know the story. You already know, regular, super. I mean, it doesn't really convince me. I can care less what title they put on those belts. You know what I'm saying? I can care less. What I look at is opponents. I look at opponents. I don't pay attention much to belts. If I'm not mistaken, I don't even know if it was a freaking belt, man. You see what I'm saying? Just all these titles, all these things that sanctioning bodies try to do to prop up a fighter more without having fought the tough competition out there. It doesn't convince me, okay? I can care less about the titles they put on. I can care less about what labels they want to put on certain fighters and on certain belts, okay? So why do I say this? Because some time ago, I don't know if you guys remember. I don't remember if it was when Mikey Garcia moved up to 147 when he fought Jesse Vargas, when he was testing the waters at 147, and he barely beat Jesse Vargas. You know what I'm saying? Man, Vargas was landing on Garcia. That was a good fight. Interesting fight, man. Back and forth. Just. I like the fight. I appreciated it. But, you know, I pushed a video after Mikey Garcia fought Jesse Vargas, and I said, you know, Mikey Garcia, after seeing this performance against Jesse Vargas, you all know, ladies and gentlemen, Jesse Vargas is not a top welterweight. I mean, let's just be straight here. Jesse Vargas is not a top welterweight. Josecito Lopez is not a top welterweight. And you know, there are several fighters out there that are not top welterweights. Lipetz is not a top, you know, welterweight. But they're strong opponents. You see what I'm saying? I mean, so that served for an interesting fight, Mike Garcia versus Jesse Vargas. But I made a video after that, and I said that, you know, Mikey Garcia is like a C-level welterweight. I determined that after seeing his performance against Jesse Vargas, okay? Why do I say this? Because if I'm not mistaken, around that time, WBC, or I don't know when it was, but I think it was around that time, WBC was calling Mikey Garcia like a emeritus champ. What the heck is an emeritus champ? You see, these titles, man, don't convince me. These titles that they're throwing out there, they don't convince me. You know what I'm saying? What convinces me is seeing the tough opponents against the tough opponents. That's challenging opponents. So interestingly enough, and this is interesting and intriguing. I mean, this is more concrete, at least. This looks more tangible. This looks more realistic. This is why I'm coming out and talking about it. Not this whole Ryan Garcia Pacquiao, Ryan Garcia Tank Davis. We know that's not going to happen. So, and we've known it's not going to happen. It wasn't going to happen. Ever since Tank and Ryan were going back and forth since more than a year ago, 2 years ago approximately, I knew, and I've been pushing it and I've been talking about it. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen, you know? And we all knew ever since that this whole thing, Ryan Garcia was trying to push, you know, false information, false quote-unquote narratives, or whatever the heck they want to label it. You know what I'm saying? Whatever you want to call it. False news. Ryan Garcia, when he's pushing those posters, promotional posters or whatever, with him and Pacquiao. We knew that wasn't going to happen. We knew it. That's why I didn't really talk. That's why I didn't talk about it. I didn't make a video about that. You know what I'm saying? Because I know it's nonsense. It's not true. So, but this is what I want to talk about. You know what I'm saying? WBC ordering Ryan Garcia versus Javier Fortuna. Okay, for getting back to what we're talking about titles, for the WBC interim belt. So if I'm not mistaken, when Ryan Garcia fought Campbell, I think he got that belt or whatever. You know, I mean, I can care less or what kind of belt that is. But from what I understand, a fighter who gets an interim belt, that's the like key. You know, that's the key to get you to fight a champion. That's kind of like what I understand from the interim belt. I can care less about the specifics and logistics of that belt, you know what I'm saying? But from what I understand, generally speaking, a fighter who has an interim belt, along the lines of that, they can fight they have the right to fight a champion in whatever division it is. So Ryan Garcia versus Javier Fortuna are going to fight for that belt. If I'm not mistaken, Ryan Garcia got that belt when he beat Campbell, okay? Let me get to the chat, man. Awesome stuff right here. Eric R, my guy, saying here, hey, Chain with Ice, what's up, fam? What's up? Good, man. Thanks for so much for jumping in, man. Always. You guys are awesome, man. Thanks so much. Eric R says, Ryan Garcia is fragile. You have to put him in there with weak fighters until he is strong enough to step up. Right. But that is not how boxing works. Opponents get harder the higher you go. Exactly. When fighters fight mediocre fighters, it's like, they're not growing. That's big facts right there, Eric R. But, and what I like about this, WBC, ordering Ryan Garcia versus Fortuna, that's a nice fight, man. That is a good step-up fight, you know what I'm saying? That's even a bigger step-up fight from, he's climbing up the stairs. Or climbing up the ladder, or however you want to say it. You know what I'm saying? Ryan Garcia looks like they're having him climb up the ladder. You know what I'm saying? So I think this is intriguing, and this is exactly why I want to talk about it. You know what I'm saying? So let me continue here. Brown Unboxing, what's going on, family? Family, man, what's going on? Brown Unboxing. What's going on, fam? Thanks so much for jumping in. Pigeon Mike. It's kind of funny name, man. I remember seeing you. I think it was on Blue Blood or something. I don't know, but Pigeon Mike. Brown Unboxing says, so if Fortuna gets beat, will he still get the... Now, that's the thing, Brown Unboxing. That's exactly what I want to talk about. That, you know, if supposedly... Now, let's make this clear. I got to make this clear. And that's why I don't get emotional about it. It's intriguing, yes. It's interesting, yes. This is why I'm talking about it. You know what I'm saying? But let's understand this before we get to that. What Brown Unboxing is saying, because that's exactly Brown Unboxing what's going on. That's exactly what they're aiming for, Brown Unboxing. So first, let's understand this. The WBC is ordering this. You know, they can order a pizza, whatever. You know what I'm saying? WBC can order this. WBA can order that. You know what I'm saying? IBF, I understand IBF, quote unquote, is one of the most respectable sanctioning bodies out there. But all these sanctioning bodies got dirt. You know, let's be real here. You know, all these sanctioning bodies got dirt. You know what I'm saying? They do things over the table. They've done it, historically speaking. All these sanctioning bodies got dirt. So I say this because I'm not getting emotional about it, but it's intriguing. It looks like it's going the right way. Now, let's understand. It's coming from the WBC, okay? So, you know, like I said, they can order a freaking pizza. They can order some food from, you know, Uber to go, and then, I don't know. I don't get emotional about it, but it's intriguing. So, I mean, that's the first thing we've got to understand here. Does it mean it's going to happen? No. Okay? I mean, you already know that. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to be here, like, too excited about it, because is it going to happen? Who the heck knows? This is great news, though, if it does happen. Now, listen. Come on now, listen. Let's go back just a little bit. Ryan Garcia versus Campbell. Thankfully, it happened. That's awesome. Interesting fight. I loved it. I loved watching it. Ryan Garcia got knocked down, got back up, and fought. I take nothing away from Ryan Garcia's performance against Campbell. Obviously, he's still growing. Yes, his chin is still up in the air. I thought he was going to improve on that before, you know, on the lead up to that fight with Campbell, you know, training with Eddie Reynoso, this and that. Yeah, but I respect his performance, man. I respect what he did against Campbell. Knocked him out, body shot. Beautiful body shot. Beautiful hook around the left, you know, around the right elbow, you know, around Campbell's right elbow. Bam. Right. Oh my gosh, that hurts. That hurts, ladies and gentlemen. Man, Campbell straight took the knee. He didn't want to get up anymore on that, you know. So, but is it gonna, you know? Okay, get back to what I'm saying. It happened. Ryan Garcia versus Campbell happened. But remember, ladies and gentlemen, that fight was postponed like 3 times, man. The fight date was rescheduled like 3 times. You guys remember that? And I don't even know what reason for what. I can care less. Supposedly, check this out. If I'm not mistaken, one of the reasons why they postponed the fight is because Campbell supposedly got COVID or something. Something like that. I can care less. To me, it's hard to believe these things nowadays with the news that come out. For example, Herring versus Frampton. What happened? What happened, ladies and gentlemen? Come on. You know, supposedly Frampton hurt his hand, and they postponed it. And now, all of a sudden, the fight's going to be in Dubai. I don't know about that. I don't know about that whole Frampton hurt his hand. Maybe he did. Maybe he didn't. I can care less to investigate about that and research it. You know what I'm saying? But it just sounds kind of weird to me. So it postponed like 3 times, Ryan Garcia versus Campbell. But thankfully, it happened. Why do I say this? Because I'm not so sure. Just because the WBC ordered Ryan Garcia versus Fortuna doesn't necessarily mean it's going to happen. You see? Doesn't necessarily mean it's going to happen. These sanctioning bodies can order a pizza. These promoters can order whatever the heck they want. They can order, Joshua versus Fury. It doesn't mean it's going to happen. I mean, these sanctioning bodies can order whatever the heck they want. You know what I'm saying? Call someone up, order a pizza. That's fine. Whatever. I'm not going to get excited about it. You know what I'm saying? You see? Because I'm at the point when it comes to sport of boxing, unfortunately, it has to be like this. As long as how I see things in my perspective, I have been, convinced to see things like this from now on. Every time, or since a long time ago to this day, when when these sanctioning bodies order things, or when these promoters come out saying this and that, and we want this to happen, but a lot of times it doesn't even happen. So it's kind of sad for me to say it like this, but I repeat, I'm not too excited about Ryan Garcia versus Javier Fortuna yet. It's going towards the right direction, though. I mean, I gotta say that. And if this happens, ladies and gentlemen, heck yeah. And exactly what Brown Unboxing, as he explained it. And that's exactly what the sources are coming out, whatever, right? The info's coming out. It's like that. That's exactly what they're saying. They're saying that the winner between Ryan Garcia and Javier Fortuna will fight Devin Haney versus Linares' winner. So, man, yeah. And, okay, now, let's check this out with the dates, okay? From what I heard, information I got, okay, that they're looking for May, okay? They're looking for around the end of May to make Ryan Garcia versus Javier Fortuna, if that's the case. March, April, May. Now, I said this before. Listen, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, listen, guys, come on. I said this before concerning the dates that these promoters, schedule fights. Sometimes these, it's too soon. It's like, that's another thing that makes me, I'm kind of skeptical that this fight's gonna, happen anytime soon, okay? Because I heard that, as you guys know, man, L-Dub, my guy right there, always sending me information that they're looking around the date of May 29th for Ryan Garcia versus Fortuna, okay? May 29th. Today is March 25th. So, and we don't even know if it's official yet. You see? These promoters, man, Oscar De La Hoya got to wake up, smell the freaking coffee beans, and get to work, man. Because March 29th is next week on Monday, okay? I'm looking at my calendar right now, so if my voice sounds kind of, I'm kind of, turning my head to my calendar. Sorry, to my calendar. So March 29th, okay, and May 26, 7, 8, 9. Obviously, it's on a Saturday. So 1, 2. We're practically just 2 months away. Okay, as I repeat, man, it looks like they want to make the fight on May 29th between Javier and Ryan Garcia. Okay, May 29th. That's pretty much 2 months away. I mean, right on it, 2 months away. It's not official. All we know that is that the WBC is ordering it. Now, what's the next phase from what we see and from what you guys know when it comes to sport of boxing? When a sanctioning body orders a fight, then the promoters, or whatever, Javier Fortuna's promoters, promoter, what have you, whatever, his higher ups, his team, blah, blah, blah. They're going to get to negotiations, and, they're going to go back and forth, and then Oscar De La Hoya is going to come out on social media. Oh, yeah, he's going to knock out Javier Fortuna, you know what I'm saying? And, well, we're looking for a date, a venue, and all that stuff, man, all that stuff. 2 months away, WBC is ordering this. So I don't know, man. I don't know if it's going to happen, dude. I'm not really too excited about it, but it's going towards the right direction. It's going towards the right direction. Now, let me get to the chat. We're going to continue this. Heck yeah, man. Thank you guys so much for chatting away up in here. Okay, so we got here. Oh, is that? Yeah. Pigeon Mike, bro. You got chill, bro. I mean, Eric R. Yeah, if that's fake news, man. I mean, Pigeon Mike, come on now. I mean, you know what I'm saying? I'm a really lenient guy. You know what I'm saying? So, the wrenches, man. Wrench, Eric R. Man. You just keep an eye out for this dude, man. Yeah. We're not going to tolerate any buffoonery on this channel. You know how we do it, man. Brown Unboxing says here, to me, it doesn't make sense. Fight Fortuna when he could just go right into a Devin. But the thing here, Brown Unboxing, I mean, Devin Haney is already, it's already set in stone, I guess we can say, with the with the Linares fight. Before though, yeah, Ryan Garcia could have stepped up. But then again, it just solidifies that this just solidifies what a lot of the community has been talking about and what we already know, what Bill Haney himself has been saying and preaching for a long time, that these guys don't want to fight Haney. I mean, it just solidifies it even more, Brown Unboxing. You know what I'm saying? So you know, even before Devin Haney and Linares was official, you know what I'm saying? Months ago, Ryan Garcia beat Campbell. They could have organized the fight between Ryan Garcia and Devin Haney before Haney and Linares was official. You know what I'm saying? You're right, Brown Unboxing. It doesn't make sense. But what does make sense because of, you know, from this is that they don't want to fight Haney, man. They just don't want to step up and fight him. And I feel that. I think that. And, you know, all the evidence points to that. You see? All the evidence points to that. And I repeat, Oscar De La Hoya is maneuvering him. Oscar De La Hoya is going to maneuver Ortiz, Virgil Ortiz, okay? Keep him away. You can keep him away from Jerome Ennis. Going to keep him away, you know, to make him a quote-unquote star. Same thing they're doing with Ryan Garcia. You know what I'm saying? Oscar De La Hoya has said it time and time again that they want to make Ryan Garcia a star. And I talked about it in my recent live, right? Just, you know, to make a fighter a star doesn't mean they have to fight the best out there. You know, it is what it is. It is what it is. The way that promoters are doing it nowadays. In the golden era of boxing, that's how it was done, though. You see? Not the way they're doing it now. The way that fighters became stars, you know what I'm saying? Back in the golden era of boxing, they had to fight the best out there. They had to fight the top competition, and they became mega stars. I mean, they became megastars to the extent of, to such an extent that recently, proof is in the pudding. Mike Tyson fought Roy Jones, pay-per-view, Triller, more than 1 million freaking buys. Isn't that insane? I mean, they did it the right way back in the day. They did it the way it should be in the sport of boxing. You know, top competition fighting the top competition. Community's not stupid. You see, I've said this time and time again, man. The boxing community is not stupid. Even though the promoters want to treat the boxing community and boxing fans and the public as if they were stupid, we're not. Why? Because proof is in the pudding. Fighters, you know what I'm saying? Fans are not going to purchase and they're not going to believe in all this hype because the proof is in the numbers. The proof is in the numbers. Mike Tyson versus Roy Jones Jr., more than 1 million buys because they know their history. They know that them fighters fought the best competition out there. You see what I'm saying? It is what it is. So getting back to what I'm saying, Oscar De La Hoya, you know what I'm saying? He's keeping Ryan Garcia from, and I'm sure he's been keeping Ryan Garcia from going directly to Devin Haney, like what Brown Unboxing is saying here. All the evidence points to that. You know, all the evidence points to that. And you're right, Brown Unboxing. So they could have, I repeat, they could have done that. They could have, you know, made or planned or whatever, scheduled Ryan Garcia versus Haney after Ryan Garcia beat Campbell. You know, go to Devin Haney. I said go to heaven. Go to Devin. You know what I'm saying? But the higher ups, you know, they're maneuvering Ryan Garcia in a strategic fashion. Whilst or while in the meantime, Devin Haney and his team, they want the smoke and that's it. They're looking for it. But hey, I repeat, this is headed towards the right direction though. This is interesting news. It's intriguing. I'm not excited about it. You know, for all I care, WBC can order a freaking pizza. I repeat, these sanctioning bodies and promoters can order pizzas. You know, and I'm not excited about it. So I mean, for all I care, they can do that. But it's going towards the right direction. WBC, like all these other sanctioning bodies, got that dirt. You know, they're kind of shady. They're obviously shady. So I don't trust 100% that just because the WBC is ordering Ryan Garcia versus Javier Fortuna doesn't mean it's going to happen. But it's headed towards the right direction. I got to repeat myself constantly. You know what I'm saying? For those who are jumping in, you know, right now, thank God so much for jumping in. You know what I'm saying? Just to reiterate what I'm saying to make it clear. You know what I'm saying? So, and it's according to, you know, the information I got, they're planning, you know, they're looking at May 29th, 2 months from now. So from now to May 29th, how long is it going to take? You know, that's the next question. How long is it going to take for this fight to actually be official? Now, quickly, it says, okay, so this is just a quick example. This is another reason why I'm not too excited about it. I mean, what? And this is another sanctioning body, WBO. You see, that's why I'm not convinced by these guys. These head honchos of these sanctioned bodies. I don't, you know what I'm saying? A lot of the time I take what they say with a grain of salt. They can order whatever the heck they want. For example, quick example, WBO, Porter, you already know, is number 1 mandatory to fight Bud. But they have to exercise it. He has to activate it. What the heck does that mean? You see how foolish these things are sometimes in sanctioned bodies? You can order whatever the heck they want. You can be a mandatory. You can be the first mandatory. You know what I'm saying? With all the accolades or whatever the heck you want to call it. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't mean you're going to fight the champ, even though you're number 1. You can call him a contender. You can call him a mandatory. You can call him an interim champ. You can call him a diamond champ. You can call him a silver champ. You can call him a Burger King champ. You can call him a McDonald's champ. You can call him a whatever the heck you want to call him. It doesn't convince me, you know what I'm saying? Doesn't mean it's going to happen. Because they come out with these foolish regulations and say, no, he's the mandatory, but, you know, Porter has to activate the mandatory. He has to activate it. What the heck does that mean, man? Come on. If you're number 1 mandatory, it has to be made. You see? So it's headed towards the right direction. So let me repeat, WBC ordering Ryan Garcia versus Javier Fortuna. Now, Javier Fortuna, you all know the story. You know, southpaw. If I'm not mistaken, his last fight was against the guy who beat Felix Verdejo. Felix Verdejo, I was talking about. Interesting, isn't it? How I was talking about all this yesterday about these fighters, and you know, his news is coming out today, and how this all intertwines. Felix Verdejo, his first loss was against. Felix Verdejo recently lost against Nakatani. That's his second loss. His first loss was against a guy named Lazada, something like that. And Javier Fortuna's last fight was with Lazada, the guy who beat Felix Verdejo. Southpaw, you know, Fortuna, I mean, he's a skilled fighter, man. And he's an experienced fighter, man. 36 fights, just a couple losses, 2, if I'm not mistaken. I think he lost against Robert Easter. And I think the other fighter was Sosa. Okay, so Javier Fortuna, man, he's a skilled fighter. So that's another reason. Check this out, ladies and gentlemen. That's another reason why I take this fight, this whole WBC ordering Ryan Garcia versus Javier Fortuna being ordered. I kind of take it with a grain of salt, because do you think just because they order it, it doesn't mean that Oscar De La Hoya is gonna give a green light? Doesn't mean that Oscar De La Hoya is gonna say, yeah, have him fight. Let's do it. Let's organize a date. Because that's a big risk, man. That's a big risk, ladies and gentlemen. You know what I'm saying? Let me get to the chat, man. Definitely, man. Let me get to the chat. So that's another aspect I want to talk about and delve into. Okay, so we got here, Eric R. saluting Brown Box and saying, yep, sounds like he only wants to fight the guy who might be willing to dive. Yes. And then Eric R. says, they can order franchise duck belts too. Exactly. And, you know, the way that WBC's been moving, and this whole guy, you know, this Mauricio guy, man, I don't trust what these dudes do. They can order whatever the heck they want. I don't really believe it. You know what I'm saying? It's hard for me to believe. It looks like it's headed towards the right direction. It looks like what the boxing community wants. But a lot of times what these these higher ups do, these political guys do in the sport of boxing, you know, when it looks like what fans want, a lot of the time it doesn't happen like that, unfortunately. You know what I'm saying? We got here Eric R saying, more like Ryan will fight the loser. That sounds more realistic. Yeah, that's a good point. That does sound more realistic. So let's say that, okay, Ryan Garcia, let's say that Ryan Garcia, let me read that again, okay? So we have here Eric R saying, more like Ryan will fight the loser. Yeah, exactly. So if Ryan Garcia beats Javier Fortuna, and Devin Haney and Jorge Linares, let's say that Jorge Linares loses, right? Which I think he will lose. It's going to be a tough fight, though. Which I think he will lose. But I think Devin Haney is going to just outbox Jorge Linares, man. I definitely think it's going to happen like that. So let's say that let's say Linares loses. They'll probably have a Ryan Garcia fight between versus Linares if Linares loses. So they can, quote unquote, prepare him for Devin Haney. I mean, that's most likely. You're right. Eric R, it looks like that may happen, man. It definitely looks like that may happen. Even though the WBC is ordering it like that, even though the WBC wants, Ryan Garcia versus Javier Fortuna, and the winner of them two, between them two fighting. Now, let's look how much. Okay, this is another thing I want to mention. Look how much they switched things up. Look how much they switched things up. Check this out, guys. Check this out. Wasn't it recent that Javier Fortuna was Devin Haney's mandatory? Wasn't it like that some time ago? Just recently, as of recently. And then, I think it was Linares it was like two mandatories. Linares was Haney's mandatory, and Fortuna was Haney's mandatory. And now WBC is ordering Ryan Garcia versus Fortuna. It's like, they switch things up, man. Out of nowhere, they just say, oh, okay, we're going to do this. Oh, okay, we're going to do that. That's another reason why I'm not so sure about this, man. And I don't know if Oscar De La Hoya is going to accept this. I don't know if Now, this may happen. Watch this. This may happen. Okay, so WBC ordered this. And then Oscar De La Hoya is going to come out and say, yeah, well, we tried to make negotiations with Fortuna's team, but, Fortuna is asking for too much. So we can't do it because Fortuna's side doesn't, they want more money and this and that, and it probably won't even happen. You see? So I'm just not convinced of this, man. I mean, if it does happen, I'm going to once again give my props to Oscar De La Hoya, man, for making it happen, in conjunction with the whole WBC ordering this. That would be awesome. And it would be great for us to see, ladies and gentlemen. We cannot deny that. I mean, that would be great to see. Ryan Garcia versus Fortuna, big step-up fight. Even a bigger step-up fight from, Ryan Garcia and Campbell. This, man, Javier Fortuna, man, he got some skills. So, you know what I'm saying? I take this all with a grain of salt. I definitely take it all with a grain of salt. We got here Eric R continuing to say Ryan Garcia is going into the Hall of Fame for the most silver belt. Yeah, without fighting the champion. Yep. It seems like that, man. It seems like, I don't know, man. That's another thing, Eric R, man. I don't that's another thing. I don't talk too much about Hall of Fame stuff, and y'all know my channel. You can go back and check my channel out. I respected the Hall of Fame. I'm just going to put it this way. I respected fighters who made the Hall of Fame more back in the day. Not in this era. I mean, I'm sorry. It sounds kind of cold, or it sounds kind of... But the Hall of Fame, I'm like, I don't know, man. If I'm not mistaken, how do you make the Hall of Fame? Okay, I don't even know, man. I can care. I just don't pay attention too much to the Hall of Fame, man. I mean, fighters back in the day, I understand. They deserve the Hall of Fame. Those, legendary fighters. But nowadays... It seems like they can just put anybody in the Hall of Fame. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Eric R says here, when you best the best, no one has to convince you to what you're. Yeah, exactly, man, exactly. So that's what I'm saying, man. Nowadays, you can't. The boxing community. I mean, there are people out there that are biased, and they have their big blindfolds on and they can't really see reality. You know what I'm saying? Those biased people who just ride for one guy, ride or die for one guy, and their fighter can't do anything wrong, and you know what I'm saying? But a lot of the boxing community out there, we can't be fooled. We cannot be fooled. You know what I'm saying? We know when tough competition fights tough competition. And I can care less of how many belts they got around their waist. I do respect, though, I repeat, champions who got those belts the tough way, the hard way, like Jermell Charlo, Errol Spence. I mean, there are more names out there. To a certain extent, I even respect Teofimo and getting those belts from Lomachenko. I mean, it is what it is. I respect that. Except the franchise thing. Except that. I gotta make that clear. You know what I'm saying? So we got here Eric R saying, I don't think Ryan beats Gamboa. Ah, man, that would be a tough fight too. That would be a tough fight. Oh my gosh, and you continue. Or Comey, Nakatani either. I think Ryan Garcia would have a good chance against Comey because Comey, he keeps himself wide open. The power punches is what kind of questions it though. I mean, it's kind of doubtful that Ryan Garcia would win Comey because of Comey's power, but Comey leaves himself open big time, and it seems like just Comey headhunts a lot. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I see why Eric are you saying that now. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I understand. Yeah. I mean, I think Ryan Garcia would have a nice chance against Comey, but then again, it's like, yeah, because of that stiff neck thing, man. I mean, Ryan Garcia has to fix that problem, man. With his, that's how he got knocked down by Campbell, man. I mean, it's exactly how he got knocked down by Campbell. Stiff neck, chin up in the air, and I'm saying Nakatani either. Yeah, Nakatani, man. Like we were talking about yesterday, I'm saying, if I'm mistaken, it was yesterday. Lomachenko versus Nakatani. Oh my gosh, I can't wait. I hope that happens. Eric R continues to say Fortuna is rugged like Maidana. Yep. If Ryan gets in the ring with him and survives, depending how it looks, he might gain. Yeah, dude. I mean, this is why. I think the boxing community, that really knows about the sport of boxing or what have you, right? They can accept and agree to Ryan Garcia versus Javier Fortuna is a great fight. I mean, I think we can all agree with that. We can agree with that. That Ryan Garcia versus Fortuna, great fight, man. And if Oscar makes it happen, and Javier Fortuna's team and they negotiate, everything goes out well. If this happens, because the negotiation part is the big obstacle too. I don't know because, Javier Fortuna, he's a really experienced fighter, man. When you compare Javier Fortuna, man, he has like 36 fights, man? Just 2 losses? I mean, Javier Fortuna is a tough fight. You know what I mean? And if they negotiate and get this fight through, man, you're right, Eric R. I mean, and if Ryan Garcia beats or even survives, like what Eric R said here, if he gets in the ring with him and survives Javier Fortuna, yeah, I'm gonna respect Ryan a little bit more. To a certain extent, I respect him. I respect all fighters, generally speaking. But I respect Ryan Garcia to a certain extent more because of the Campbell fight, man. Because of the Campbell fight, I got to. Obviously, y'all know how I do it. You know my point of view with Ryan Garcia concerning Ryan Garcia and this whole buffoonery, and I talked about it yesterday, about the false information that he's been pushing. That we don't buy that. It's a bunch of nonsense. But, he fought Campbell. Cool. Great win. Still got to learn, still got to grow, yes. But great win. And now if he fights Fortuna, and if it really goes down, if he survives, and if he wins, Eric R., you know what I'm saying? Ladies and gentlemen, those who are listening, if he wins, oh, man, come on now. Yeah. My level of respect for Ryan is going to definitely go up more. It's definitely going to go up more. You know what I'm saying? That's where I'll be convinced and say, you know what? Ryan Garcia, it looks like he's a little bit more serious about boxing now. It looks like, because right now, yeah, I see him kind of like, not too serious, though. After this whole stuff he's been doing on social media. All this, misleading fans. You don't do that. You don't do that as a fighter. Just imagine Muhammad Ali. Obviously, I'm not comparing GOAT status to Ryan Garcia, no. But it's just an example. Muhammad Ali or Mike Tyson or whoever, whatever name you want to put out there. Those real fighters. Those real serious fighters. Just imagine them pushing that kind of information. Yeah, I'm gonna fight. So-and-so name. And then making a poster about it on social media and posting it, and they're gonna do it, and then they don't do it. It's like, what are you playing here, man? So that definitely, made Ryan Garcia look really bad. You know what I'm saying? It made him look horrible. However, and that made me think, you know what? Ryan Garcia ain't taking things serious when it comes to sport of boxing. He really ain't taking things too seriously. Even though he beat Campbell, and I respect that, you know what I'm saying? I really appreciated that performance that he gave against Campbell. But after he did all that nonsense, it made me like, you know what? Think Ryan Garcia. And I said it yesterday. I said, I don't even want to talk about Ryan Garcia. I'm not going to talk, because I think somebody in the chat mentioned him. I don't remember. Or I think I mentioned him because of some reason I was talking about yesterday. And I said, I don't even want to talk about Ryan Garcia. You know what I'm saying? And now this information is coming out. And if he does fight Javier Fortuna, and like what Eric R is saying, if he survives and if he wins, oh man, I'm going to have to definitely respect Ryan Garcia. And it's going to convince me that he's serious. He's more serious. It's going to convince me that he's serious in the sport of boxing. Definitely. And hey, we cannot go against that. You know what I'm saying? We cannot. But I repeat, I take this with a grain of salt, man. I take it with a grain of salt. Then why am I talking about him? People may ask. those out there listening in the background, or those who out there eventually who will listen in the background, then why are you talking about it? Because this looks like it's going towards the right. It's going down the right road. That's why. And as I said in the beginning of this session, I said that this looks more realistic. Okay? Not a Pacquiao, not a Tank Davis, not even a Haney. But Ryan versus Fortuna looks a little bit more realistic. It's a big step up though for Ryan, and it also at the same time makes me think, will Oscar really go through with this? You know? Now, I'm thinking that Suleiman and Oscar De La Hoya, they rub shoulders. They're buddy. And I think you guys know why. I don't even have to get into why, okay? But I think you guys know why. I think that De La Hoya and Suleiman, I think they rub shoulders with each other. They're buddy. So if that's the case, it's possible this fight will really go down. All right? So man, and I reiterate one more time. If this happens, and if Ryan Garcia beats Javier, which is going to be tough, really tough, man. Javier is a great fighter. He can fight. He has skills, man. Southpaw. This is going to be good stuff right here, man. But if I'm not mistaken, check this out. If I'm not mistaken, Campbell was a southpaw, right? He's a southpaw, and Ryan Garcia beat him. So, but it's really going to be an interesting fight. I think Javier Fortuna is He's sharper. He's a sharper southpaw than Campbell. More skilled, in my humble opinion. So I'm going to definitely respect Ryan Garcia, man. If this fight happens and he wins, So let me get to the chat, man. Definitely. We got here Eric R saying, right, today's fighters go off like a chore checkoff list. Yep. They beat the weakest champ and move up and call themselves multi-divisional champs. Yep. Facts, Brent. Facts. Because casuals, yes. Casuals don't ask who you beat exactly for the belts. That's facts right there, man. That's facts. You know, and a lot of people are starting to see through this stuff. But at the same time, there are a lot of casuals, right? But yeah, community sees through all that. You know what I'm saying? Community sees through all that. You know what I'm saying? I don't pay attention to these belts. I pay attention to who these guys are fighting. You know what I'm saying? Eric R continues to say here, we'll go here. I'll always have respect for how Fernando Vargas moved. Yeah. Oh, heck yeah. Fernando Vargas, yes, man. Definitely. Respect right there, man. Respect. And I got to say this, man. Let's get back to what I was saying about if this fight goes through, I'm going to take my hats off once more to Oscar De La Hoya. I'm going to do it. Even though he's fishy, even though he does weird things outside the ring and, outside in his personal life. And Oscar De La Hoya has been criticized a whole lot. And you know why. You know why. And I've even said it. Check this out. I think that Golden Boy would have been better guided and led with Richard Schaefer. Richard Schaefer, man, I think if I'm not mistaken, years ago, he was, working with Oscar De La Hoya and Golden Boy. But for some reason or another, Richard Schaefer left the scene. I don't know why, and I don't know. But I made a video, man, a long time ago, man, that Richard Schaefer, he's very level-headed, very smart. It looks like he's not biased. It looks like he doesn't favor Hispanics more than, African-American or Caucasian fighters. He genuinely loves the sport of boxing and boxers. Richard Schaefer, just go back, man. Just go back and listen to his interviews. He's a smart guy. He's an intellectual, very mature man, at least from what I've seen throughout the years. And for some reason or another, he left Golden Boy. And ever since then, when Oscar De La Hoya took the steering wheel of, took control or whatever you want to say, right? Call it whatever. Taking control, making all the decisions. Because if I'm not mistaken, back then, Richard Schaefer was, hand in hand with Oscar and helping him steer Golden Boy. But ever since Richard Schaefer left, I was like, what? Come on, man. Richard Schaefer, and this is why I think that had Richard Schaefer stayed more, it would be totally different right now in Golden Boy. It would be way different. There would be a mix of all fighters, and we would be getting a lot better fighters than what Golden Boy is giving now. Let's be real. I don't think Golden Boy has been given the best fights out there. Yeah, they give good fights sometimes. I'm not saying they don't, but I think that, up to now, we know that Oscar De La Hoya is what I'm getting at, what I'm saying when I started this. He's been criticized a whole lot because of the way he is in his personal life, drugs, blah, blah, blah. As a fighter, though, man, my respects to Oscar. But as a promoter, not really. Not really. So, we got 503. What's going on, my guy? 503 in the building. What's going on, 503? How you doing, bro? How you doing today, man? Hope you're doing great today, man. So we got here, Eric R saying, I'll always have respect for how Fernando. Oh, yeah, I read that there, 503. Salute, big. Yeah, thanks so much, man. We got Ryan versus 503 saying, Ryan versus Javier is a good fight for the fan. It is, man. It is. But like I said at the beginning, that, just because the WBC is ordering it doesn't really mean it's going to happen, And check this out, 503. You just jumped in. So I got information that, they're looking towards around May 29th for Ryan Garcia and Javier Fortuna to go down to fight. But when you look at it, in all angles, that's just 2 months away. And how long is it going to take for these two teams to negotiate, Ryan Garcia and Javier Fortuna? You see what I'm saying? And when it comes to negotiation processes, sometimes they take long. So if they're really planning for May 29th to fight, the clock is ticking. The clock is ticking. And Oscar De La Hoya better wake up and smell his freaking coffee beans and get to work. Because if they're going to fight around that time, May 29th, that's right around the corner. And how are they going to promote? They're going to have very little time to promote it. That's another thing I want to talk about. That's another thing. These promotional companies, announcing fights a month and a half away from the actual fight, it's like they got to promote these fights a little bit more. You know what I'm saying? They got to dedicate a little bit more time in promoting their fights and their events so they can get more traction. You know what I'm saying? Ryan Garcia versus Javier Fortuna is definitely worth promoting. It's definitely worth promoting. We can put all that shading, that buffoonery that I talked about yesterday. Like I said, I'm 100 with all these guys. All the buffoonery that Ryan Garcia has been pushing recently. You know what I'm saying? Lately. All that buffoonery that Oscar De La Hoya even has been pushing and saying lately. I talked about it yesterday. You know what I'm saying? We can put that aside. And let's just look at the fighters. Ryan Garcia and Javier Fortuna. Just like what 503 is saying. Ryan versus Javier is a good fight. It definitely is for the fans. This fight deserves to be promoted. It definitely does deserve to be promoted. Stylistically, all around. Javier Fortuna is a really good step-up fight for Ryan Garcia. If this doesn't happen, I'm not going to say I'm going to be really disappointed because we have had so many, unfortunately, disappointments in the sport of boxing when it comes to, supposed announce possible potential fights that don't happen, right? I wouldn't be, because in the context of this session, I've been saying it since the beginning of the live, that I take it with a grain of salt, So if it doesn't happen, I'll be like, whatever, it is what it is. I already spoke out upon it. I already spoke out about it that, I take it with a grain of salt. Especially coming from the WBC. You see what I'm saying? And, I talked about also how Porter, he's number one mandatory for Bud. Looks like that ain't going to happen. So, they can call them mandatories. They can call them contenders. They can have a freaking whatever belt they want. They can have a gold belt with diamonds on it. I can care less. It doesn't mean that they're going to fight the top competition. You see? It is what it is. So if it doesn't happen, it's like, it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? But this fight does deserve to be promoted if it happens. It deserves the limelight, man. It does. Money in the ghetto. What's going on, family? What's going on, bro? How you doing, man? Thanks so much for jumping on. Ricky E245. Thanks so much for jumping in here, man. We got here Ricky saying, thank you guys for jumping in, man. It says, Fortuna is a tough fight for Ryan. Yeah. So this is what we want to see, man. This is what we want to see. But I take it with a grain of salt. I know it sounds like I'm repeating myself, but I have to make myself really clear on this. I take it with a grain of salt. Because do you guys think, ladies and gentlemen, those who tune in eventually, right? Do you guys think that Oscar's going to let him fight Javier Fortuna? I don't know. Just because WBC's ordering it doesn't mean that, Oscar's on board with it. But then again, I think they rub shoulders. I think they're buddy-buddy, Oscar and Mauricio. And I don't have to explain why. I think you guys know why. You know what I'm saying? So we got Eric R saying Oscar needs to stop being so focused on his two fighters. He should learn from Canelo and losing 80%. Man, I'm telling you, man. Take some of those millions and sign more talent. That's why I don't That's why I don't really respect Oscar De La Hoya as a promoter. As a fighter, that was another story. And you see why I said this yesterday? You see why I said this yesterday? I said that, all this buffoonery that Ryan Garcia has been pushing with Pacquiao, I'm going to fight him, and, Tank Davis, and we know that's not going to happen. And even Oscar De La Hoya, he said, and let me repeat it, Oscar De La Hoya said in the lead up in the press conference right before the Campbell fight versus Ryan Garcia, and that press conference, he said, yeah, Tank Davis, and he was talking about Tank Davis. What the heck are you talking about, Tank? Shut up with that buffoonery. They're not going to fight anyway. They're not going to fight anytime soon, so stop talking about him. You're supposed to promote Ryan versus Campbell. Why are you talking about Tank? There's no purpose in that. You see? So those are reasons why I don't really respect Oscar as a promoter, because it's just a lot of buffoonery there. And also, exactly what Eric Gar's saying, there are things that Oscar can do to really catapult his promotional company and really, push great fights out there. You're right, Eric Gar. I think that was the biggest sign. That was the biggest smack upside the head to wake up when Canelo left Golden Boy. When Canelo left Golden Boy, didn't Oscar learn from that? Didn't he, you see? I mean, it's so clear that Oscar is showing, it seems like, just favoritism, with two select, just a couple fighters. It's like, man, you got to treat them all the same, man, and promote them all and make great fights. But he just don't do that. It's just sometimes he just doesn't do it. He just runs his mouth off a lot and says this and that, and he doesn't get them fights out there. You know what I'm saying? Tone Brown, what's going on, family? What's going on, man? I hope you're doing great. The news is out there that WBC is ordering, Ryan Garcia versus Javier Fortuna, and it looks like they want the winner of Javier Fortuna and Ryan Garcia to fight the winner of Haney versus Linares. But you know what I think is going to happen? Let's get to that point. What I think is going to happen is this. Let's say that this fight goes down. Awesome. I always look to the future. You know what I'm saying? Let's say the fight happens. Let's say that Ryan Garcia beats Javier Fortuna. Man, that would be awesome. That would be just, and like I said a moment ago, like what Eric Gar was alluding to, that if Ryan Garcia beats Javier Fortuna, if the fight even happens, my respect is going to really go up for Ryan Garcia. I'm not going to say he's the best out there, of course not, but my respect is going to elevate for Ryan Garcia if this happens. And I'm going to take my hats off to Oscar De La Hoya, and I'm going to say, hey man, hats off to you, man, for making the fight. Hats off to you for making the WBC ordered it, and you followed through on it. You followed through on Ryan Garcia and Javier Fortuna, and you didn't protect your prospect. You didn't protect your potential quote-unquote star. Okay? I'm going to take my hats off to these guys, to Ryan Garcia and to Oscar, and say, hey, good stuff. That's exactly, it pleases the fans, the fight community. That's what we want. That's what we want from these promoters. But, let's say that all happens. And let's say that Ryan beats Javier Fortuna. What's next? Supposedly, according to all this information that's coming out, let me repeat it one more time and let's get to what I'm saying. The winner between Ryan Garcia and Javier Fortuna, they plan to fight. WBC wants the winner between them two to fight the winner between Haney and Linares. Now, I think Haney's going to beat Linares, like I was saying earlier, okay? And if Haney beats Linares, something tells me, if it all goes out how I'm saying, something tells me Oscar is not going to let Ryan fight Haney. And mark my words on that one. I'm not a pro. I don't predict it all 100%. I don't care. I'm just speaking what I think and how I see things. I try to make educated guesses or hypothesis, like Eric Gar said a moment ago. Thanks so much, Eric Gar, for telling me that giving that word out. It's a hypothesis. Educated hypothesis is what I do. That's my educated hypothesis. If Ryan beats Fortuna, if the fight even happens, which I take with a grain of salt anyways, and Haney beats Linares, that's more realistic because that's official fight. That's an official fight. It's not pie in the sky. It's not maybe this, we're ordering it, or, he has to activate it like Porter and Bud. Activate your mandatory. Bunch of nonsense. Whatever. Okay, so that's what I said earlier in this show, that, these sanctioned bodies, man, I tank with the great assault, whatever the heck they're saying. You know what I'm saying? Haney versus Linares. Haney beats Linares. I don't think Oscar De La Hoya is going to throw Ryan in the ring with Haney. I don't think it's going to happen. I do not think it's not going to happen, man. I don't think it's going to happen. Please mark my words on that, ladies and gentlemen. Because if it goes out like that, these two winners come out winning, or these two fighters come out winning these fights, okay? Something's going to happen. Oscar De La Hoya is going to come out and say something. Or he's going to say something like, oh, we're gonna give Ryan Garcia a tune-up fight, but before Haney. Something's gonna happen. So many things can happen between now and then, ladies and gentlemen. And I don't think it's gonna be on the part of Haney's team. It's gonna be on the side of Oscar De La Hoya and Ryan Garcia, and not making the Haney fight. If Garcia fights Fortuna and beats Fortuna, okay? I just don't see it happening, man. I do not see. I'm not trying to be pessimistic or anything like that, but I just try to be as factual as possible and realistic as possible. So we got here Eric R saying that way your fighters will have more opponents. Yeah, continuing what you're saying. DP Rocker, what's going on, fam? I think I saluted you. Thank you so much. Cursor's in the building. Thanks so much, man. You guys are awesome. Thank you guys so much for jumping in. We're just chopping it up a little bit about this whole news that's coming out with Ryan Garcia and Javier Fortuna. You know what I'm saying? WBC ordering that fight. So Eric R continuing to say, I really appreciate you guys jumping in once again. Okay, so we got Eric R saying that way your fighters will have more opponents, and we can start getting more fights. Exactly, bro. He once said he wanted to get Don King out of boxing to clean up the. Who said that? Oscar? Oh my gosh, dude. Oscar said that. That's a joke, man. What are we talking about? You see, that's what I'm saying, man. These guys say one thing and they're just totally doing the opposite. It's a bunch of nonsense, dude. I mean, Don King's the one who brought them. Don King is the one who made the golden era of boxing, if I'm not mistaken, from what I remember. Okay, now we understand this. Okay, for example, Dana White just came out recently criticizing Bob Arum. Criticizing Bob Arum, but at the same time, Dana White underpays UFC fighters and MMA fighters. He really underpays them. They deserve a lot more. Or whoever the heck is the president of UFC. I don't know. I don't really follow that. But, it's like you're speaking out of, you know what I'm saying? You're saying something, but you're doing something worse. You know what I'm saying? So kind of the same thing here with Oscar De La Hoya and Don King. I understand. Don King, he has done a lot of shady things too. But, when it comes to the competition and he made the freaking events popping. He made these boxers stars, those who were under Don King Promotions, in his promotional company, whatever. He made those guys freaking stars, man. Mike Tyson was one of them. We were just talking about that a moment ago with Mike Tyson and Roy Jones. Stars to the extent that, Mike Tyson in his freaking 50s, I think he's like 50-year-old guy, legend, fighting another 50-year-old legend, over 1 million pay-per-view. To that extent, Don King made fighters stars. You see what I'm saying? I mean, Oscar De La Hoya can criticize what he wants about Don King, but Oscar De La Hoya is not anywhere near what Don King did in the sport of boxing. Am I right or not? So Oscar De La Hoya, just shush about Don King, man. You be quiet. You know what I'm saying? All these promoters be quiet if they want to say something about Don King. When it comes to the events they pushed. That's what I'm saying. When you compare, the promoters nowadays with Don King and the events they pushed, man, Don King was just levels above these guys nowadays. And I know, Bob Arum was around the time that Don King was promoting also, but Don King, man, he just hands down pushed those amazing events, man, amazing matchups. DP Rocca says Haney destroys Garcia badly. That's why, DP Rocca. That's why, if this all goes through, which is really hard to believe, okay? Unfortunately, man, when sometimes news is too good to be true in boxing, it usually is. When it sounds too good to be true, it usually is. And not everything that glitters is gold, right? Not everything that glitters is gold, okay? So, if all this happens, that we're explaining in this session, DP Rocca, That's why I think what you're saying, Haney destroys Garcia. That's why I think that it's not going to happen next. Ryan Garcia, if this all follows through and goes through how we're talking and how WBC wants it to happen, which is why they're ordering supposedly Ryan Garcia versus Javier Fortuna to fight the winner between Haney and Linares. If it all goes through like that, Oscar, I don't think he's going to throw him in there with Haney. I don't see it. I don't see this happening, ladies and gentlemen, because Oscar wants to make Ryan Garcia a star. And I repeat and I reiterate, just, nowadays in this era, to make a boxer a star is not to put them necessarily up with the best competition. That's just how it is nowadays, man. It is what it is. It is what it is. Miami Kid J, what's going on, man? Thank you so much for jumping up in here, man. Thank you. Thank you so much. I've seen you before, man. Thank you so much. Keep jumping on in here, man. Your community. Thanks so much, man. You said Miami Kid says, if Devin Haney dismantles Linares, facts, bro. Facts. Excuse me. Facts. Let me read that there. If Devin Haney dismantles Linares, there's no way Oscar put big facts with Devin. It's unfortunate for us boxing fans, but it's just political boxing. Exactly. It's just boxing politics. Exactly. Miami. Interesting that I'm explaining all this before you came in, and it's exactly what you're saying, bro. That's facts. I mean, they're gonna ride off of, and you know what? This is exactly why I take this fight, this whole WBC ordering Ryan Garcia versus Javier Fortuna, I take it with a grain of salt because it's a big risk for Ryan Garcia. This is a risk for Ryan Garcia to fight even Fortuna. Seasoned veteran, 36 fights, just 2 losses. Javier Fortuna has fought tough competition. And to put Ryan Garcia in there with him, you see, this is exactly why I take this with a grain of salt. And I'm not so sure Ryan Garcia versus Javier Fortuna is going to even happen, man. I'm just not so sure. But I reiterate what I said moments ago. If it happens, hats off to Oscar De La Hoya for this fight in particular, for this event. You see? But I'm almost positive he's going to do exactly what Miami Kid just said. And they're going to ride off of Garcia beating Fortuna. They're going to ride off of that and try to hype up Garcia even more from winning if it happens, Fortuna. But at the same time, hey, I got to respect Ryan Garcia. If he fights Fortuna and he beats him, man, my level of respect is going to go up a little bit more for Ryan Garcia. I say a little bit because it depends what happens thereafter. It depends what happens thereafter if Garcia beats Fortuna. If the fight even happens. You see what I'm saying? It's Pete. I haven't seen you before here, man. Thank you so much for jumping in. You said Eddie Hearn is the best. Hey, man, I feel what you're saying. But I see all these guys the same, man. I'm not gonna favor one guy over the other when it comes to promotional promoters, when it comes to fighters. I see them all the same, you know what I'm saying? I don't have any biases or anything of that nature, but because at the same time, Pete, it's Pete, Pete, I'll just call you Pete, all right? Is that cool? Pete, Eddie Hearn has said a lot of things, and I don't know, man. All these promoters got shade. I'm just gonna put it like that, man. All these promoters got shade, but Pete, I definitely take my hats off to Eddie Hearn. I've said it before. For the matchups, some matchups he's been bringing. I'm not gonna say all of them, okay? But some matchups he has brought some great matchups, and hey, it's great for the community, for the sport of boxing, for the community. Andy Ruiz versus Anthony Joshua, and then a rematch. Cool, it was fun to watch. Even though a lot of people speculate that they put Andy Ruiz against Anthony Joshua because they thought that Andy Ruiz was going to be another pushover. And that wasn't the case. It was a big upset, right? But hey, I definitely, we just saw a great event, Pete. Estrada versus Chocolatito, Breakis versus McCaskill in the same card, rematch, both rematches. I mean, that was an awesome card. So, I mean, Pete, I take my hats off to Eddie Hearn in certain fights. You know what I'm saying? Certain events that he's pushed. Pete says, do you think Garcia Fortuna? Of course. Yeah, Pete, that's what we're saying in this whole live. You know what I'm saying? That it's a great fight, but we don't, I just take it with a grain of salt. Who knows if it's going to really happen? So we'll see what happens. Eric Gar says, you're right. Whenever I hear a fighter say, I'm going to fight 1, 2, or 3, immediately cross off the 2 names. Exactly. Okay, look, Eric Gar, just for an example. This is a quick example. Okay. the community wants Porter versus Bud. The community is crying out for that and has been crying. I've been talking about it for more than a year. I talked about it yesterday, if I'm not mistaken. I referenced that video a long time ago. When everybody was screaming, check this out, ladies and gentlemen. When everybody was screaming, Bud Spence, Bud Spence, Bud Spence, and this is for years, plural. Around that time, when it was hot topic, I pushed out a video and said, forget Spence versus Bud. Bud should fight Porter. It's on my channel. Y'all can go find it. It's way back there, okay? I just want to let you know that, okay? But maybe you can type it up on YouTube. Maybe you can find it. It's called Forget Spence versus Bud. Something like that. Porter versus Bud should happen. Something like that it's called, okay? You know, and I wanted to see that first. I wanted to see Porter versus Bud first. But why am I saying this? Because right now, the community is crying out for Porter versus Bud, which is most likely not going to happen. I knew it was. I mean, it just. Yeah. Anyways, so like what Eric are saying, when you hear a fighter say, "I'm gonna fight 1, 2, or 3," it's exactly cross out the 2 names, the first 2, and go to 3. Information has been coming out. I said this weeks ago, a week and a half, 2 weeks ago, something like that. I said it like a couple weeks ago. That now information's coming out that Bud has options. It's going to be Porter. He's the first option, which is not going to happen most likely because of what's going on. Or it's going to be Clayton, or it's going to be Barbosos. I think Barboso, whatever. I think he was a 140 fighter, 140 pound fighter. Barboso, Clayton, or Porter. Most likely Porter's not going to happen. Probably going to be Clayton. Probably going to be Barboso. And then there's word coming out, maybe Josecito. You see? Looks like what Eric Gar is saying. It's going to happen with Bud. Unfortunately. You know, I don't want to get to Bud right now, but who the heck he's going to fight? Who is he going to fight? Yeah, DP Rocket. That's amazing logic, bro. And that's what happens a lot of the time. You see, and that's just a quick example. And that's what most likely is going to happen with Ryan Garcia. You know, I got my hopes up for Ryan to a certain extent, but I'm not excited right now. You know, I talked about it yesterday. I said, I'm not going to talk about this kid. I'm not going to talk about this kid because all the buffoonery. And it was before this information came out with the WBC ordering Ryan versus Javier Fortuna. So, I mean, I'm not excited about it because we know how boxing is. But if it happens, heck yeah. Miami Kid continues to say, Fortuna is an awkward fighter. Yeah, man. He's going to give problems to Ryan, bro. So Fortuna is an awkward fighter, very unorthodox, and a southpaw to add to that, bro. So I think he could give not only Ryan problems, oh, definitely, but other boxers in the 135 division. Include big facts, Miami Kid. Javier Fortuna is a freaking tough fighter. He's a good fighter. I mean, this is why I said at the beginning of this session, at the beginning, we have an hour and 12 minutes so far, okay? At the beginning of it, to lay a foundation, I said I take it with a grain of salt. I take it with a grain of salt. Because I don't know if Oscar De La Hoya is going to want this for Ryan. I don't think Oscar wants to risk Ryan getting a loss right now. At this point in Ryan's career. Because Oscar De La Hoya knows if Ryan Garcia loses to Fortuna, Ryan Garcia's status is going to go down the pipe, man. Because right now, everybody's looking, or a lot of people at least, I don't know, whatever. People are looking at Ryan Garcia like, all those millions of followers of Ryan Garcia on Instagram. They're, oh yeah, he's the next super boxer, or whatever. You know what I'm saying? And Oscar De La Hoya doesn't want to risk that. He doesn't want to risk that prospect, his future golden goose, to losing. So I repeat one more time, Ryan Garcia versus Fortuna with a grain of salt, man. Just because the WBC is ordering it, I don't care. They can order a pizza. You know, I'm not buying it just yet. I'm not buying this just yet. You know, and I reiterate for those who are just jumping in, I got news that they're looking to fight, Ryan Garcia and Javier. They're looking to schedule it for May 29th. That's around the corner. So they better get to negotiating. They better get their freaking head in the game. Oscar, get your head in there, start moving, making moves. Let's go. So you can promote this fight, correctly and appropriately. Because I repeat what I said earlier. This fight deserves to be promoted. If it goes down, it deserves to be promoted. And it's really a fan-friendly fight, man. That's what I'm talking about. So definitely, man. DP, thanks so much for jumping in. All you guys, man. In Miami, all you guys, man. Thank you so much. So we got here Pete. Also, thank you so much. Everybody. We got here Eric R saying salute DP. Yeah, it happened recently. Manny saw with with Bud and Errol, but Mikey was always the third name, right? Yes, sir. Yes, sir, Eric R. That's big facts, bro. DP Rocket says he's suspect. Pretty face, but don't put in the work. Reminds me of Chavez Jr. You're talking about Ryan Garcia, right? Hey, let me say something real quick. Check this out, ladies and gentlemen. I was going to push a video, but I'll just say it right now. Now that DP Rocker just rang a bell right now. Chavez Jr. Did you know that Cesar Chavez Sr.? Cesar Chavez Sr. is so 100, man. He recently said and came out, I don't know, whatever the heck interview it was, but it came out, it was in Spanish. He said that he hopes that one of his grandchildren become legends because his son, Chavez Jr., didn't fulfill that. Man. Man. So let me repeat that. Chavez Sr., legend, said that his own son didn't fulfill legendary status. So he's looking to his grandchildren. He said, I hope to live to see the day that one of my grandchildren become a legend. One of my grandchildren becomes a legend in the sport of boxing because my son, Chavez Jr., hasn't fulfilled that. Man, dude, that's 100% real. Isn't that funny? Oh my gosh, that's sad. Yeah, DP Rocco. Wow, yeah, he said that. I think I'm gonna make a video just so you can see the receipts or whatever, right? But like I said, you can trust what I'm saying, man. I ain't capping or anything. I don't do that. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, and it was in Spanish, so that's why I was kind of second guessing of pushing the video out because it came out in social media and it was in Spanish. It was on Spanish, so yeah. So dude, man, my respects is man, Chavez Sr. That's a real, he's a real one. He's a real one. A lot of people don't know how real that guy is, man. He's a real one. Apart from his career, he speaks at 100. He doesn't care. He's going to say how it is. He said the same thing about, he's criticized Canelo. You see, that's what I'm saying. These legends, I respect what they say. I respect what they say. Biases, I don't do biases. I don't care. You know what I'm saying? I'm not convinced I don't do biases. I don't care how big, I don't care how much a platform and, a network hypes up a fighter. I see through all that hype. I see what it is. Chain with Ice says, Renee, Ryan does good with South. Yeah. Yes, Chain with Ice. That's something I mentioned earlier, that he fought Campbell, and Campbell's a southpaw, if I remember correctly, and, he knocked him out. So, Ryan, it's going to be a great fight, man. It's going to be I can't break it down just yet because I got to wait to see if it's official. Javier versus Ryan. But yeah, Ryan does good with southpaw that are short because he has the straight right and the... Okay, now, that's another thing, Chain with Ice. Interesting you point that out. Okay, so size-wise, Ryan Garcia is like 5'8". No, sorry, 5'10", I think. And he's a couple inches taller than Javier Fortuna, so that's a really good point, Chain with Ice. Javier is a shorter guy, so that's an apparent advantage that Ryan Garcia would have against Javier Fortuna. So apparently Ryan Garcia has an advantage, but experience-wise, Javier Fortuna has the advantage. But it just makes for a great fight, man. It just makes for a great fight. DP Rocket says here, Junior should have beat Martinez, dropped him in the... Yeah. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Chavez Jr., man, he's just riding off his dad's name, his dad's last name. You know what I'm saying? His dad's name. He's just riding off of his dad's name. That's all. And, he got opportunities to get in the sport of boxing because of his pops, man. He just didn't live up to... And I'm not saying just because Junior didn't live up to his dad's legacy. No. He just didn't live up to, when it comes to skills, when it comes to, it is what it is with Junior, man. He's just, and now outside the ring, he's just clowning around. He's crazy doing, You know the story there, man. So Junior, you know, and I understand why Chavez Sr. said that about his own son. So he said, my son ain't fulfilling the legendary status. I hope I live to see one of my grandchildren to be a legend in the sport of boxing. Wow. So, hey, man, wonderful. Thank you guys so much for jumping up in here, man. Thank you. I got to get going, man. Got an hour and 20 minutes, man, up in this live. Oh, I loved it. I just wanted to break down my 2 cents on WBC ordering Javier Fortuna versus Ryan Garcia. Let's hope it happens. Let's definitely keep our eyes out on this. I am, and I'm going to follow this story, okay? I'm going to follow all this. Let's hope it really happens. And right here we have Eric Garcia saying, more like Ryan will fight. Oh, yeah, that was earlier. I don't know why the chat kind of stopped. The change stopped on the screen. I don't know why it did that, but we'll probably check into that. So thank you guys so much for jumping up in here, man. Like, subscribe, share. New listeners, go ahead and subscribe, man. I really appreciate each and every one of you, man. So DP Rocka says here, yeah, I read that. Yeah. Oh, no, wait. Junior. Yeah, I read that one. So thank you guys so much, man. I got it going. You know, I had this window of time, an hour and 20 minutes. I loved it, man. I just love chopping up the sport of boxing. I have a plan to go live later, okay? So just keep an eye out, man. Hopefully, I'll be able to go live later this evening, okay? Thank you so much. I got to get going, man. You guys are awesome.